Good morning, good evening, Megan Mitchell. It's April 1st, and I haven't made a video since last week. As most of you know, and I think as Red mentioned, I'm a teacher, and this is my 25th year teaching. It is spring, and it's a very busy time of the year, especially with the end of the year approaching in a few months. So I try to make a video every week, at least, if not, and I need to take a break. Just rest assured that I'm still here, and I am always ready and curious and in the background, just excited for what's coming. I completely changed my mind about what I wanted to talk about today because of our recent short live with Julie, Susie, and Chris. So if you haven't seen that live, please take a little bit of time and go watch it. It's very short, very uplifting, and it kind of shifted the energy in our Victory with Ash community. So I changed my mind about what I wanted to talk about. And before I get into a short set of things that I think are important, I want to share with you kind of some thoughts I've had about where we're at in our journey, and how, the spring renewal of, nature kind of reflects, or I should say is a parallel to what we're seeing. And if you know me, you know I love plants. If you can see behind me, there's plants everywhere. I'm getting them ready to take back home and take outside for the warm season. But I also plant a lot of perennials, and spring is a time where we're always curious and looking to see what has survived and what hasn't, or what is still dormant and what's coming out soon. And as a person, I don't consider myself any kind of an expert, but I've been planting and gardening and things for quite some time, and there's always a sense of angst or a little bit of hesitation when you look at the plants that don't leaf out immediately, or they don't bud out early. You look at them, they're brown, they're barren, and you don't know if they're going to come back. But if you have faith, or if you have a little bit of knowledge, you can rest assured that there is a great deal going on within that plant. It has been storing up energy and rejuvenating, and I think that's very similar to what we see in our Victory with Ash community. Unfortunately, many of our community members, the second they see a little bit of dryness, or I should say a little bit of barren look, they immediately panic, and maybe kind of like a gardener who rips out something they planted the previous year because right now it doesn't look like it's coming back. But if I focus too much attention on watching that one specimen or that one plant, and I stare at it, and I'm sitting there looking at it over and over just to see if there's any signs of life, I'm missing out on an opportunity to work on the rest of my garden, to prepare. When we distract ourselves and when we go about life and keep going, like many of us are doing in this journey, we just keep focusing on the things that we need to focus on. It seems like the time goes much faster, and that's what I've seen with a lot of our community members. Those who are staying focused on going on with their regular life, doing the things they need to do to stay busy and to enhance or improve themselves, they're the ones that are not creating a sense of angst. And just when you don't expect it, that's when the bush or the plant leafs out, or it buds out. And that's what we've seen if you watch Julie and Chris and Susie. All of a sudden we have this renewed sense of hope. Hopefully you're still here. Hopefully you're still, ready for the garden. I know it sounds kind of cliche to make this sort of comparison, but recently I've been trying to get, my planting beds cleaned up. And this is what I've been thinking about, is how if if you don't know, if you don't have faith in particular plants, you might rip them out. Unfortunately, some of our community members have ripped out, metaphorically, they've ripped out the plant, and they've moved on to something else that they think is more viable. But some of the best plants take a great deal of time to really fill out. And that's what's happened, is we are seeing that Ash has been storing up energy. He's been working so hard behind the scenes, and he's just about ready to spring forth with new growth and show us what's been cooking or what's been germinating behind the scenes. I hope this is encouraging. This isn't really what I wanted to talk about, but I've been thinking about this as I've been gardening, about how it's so relative to what we're seeing in our community. So I hope you have been keeping yourself busy while you're waiting for that special plant to leaf out, per se. So today, instead of talking about something as a long topic, I found this list, and I thought this was a good list. It's by Kavit Haria, and if I'm saying that incorrectly, please forgive me. But it is 9 mindsets of high impact people. And I just want to go through this pretty quickly and maybe touch on a few things that I think are applicable to our community, because we have so many people in our community who are high impact people. And what makes them high impact? Number 1, they focus on what they can control. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. When we focus on what we can control. I can't control whether or not that bush or that plant is going to come back, or whether it's going to, it's going to show fruit, or whatever you want to say. I can't control that, but what I can control is I can go on and I can do what I need to do to take care of the rest of my garden. And that's what we see, is many people are going on, they're doing what they need to do in their daily lives while staying focused and staying ready for what's coming. They use their energy where it actually creates change. Number 2, they take full ownership of results. They don't blame, deflect, or run away when it's hard. So, if you are one of those people who are staying focused and who are taking responsibility, that's going to show in the end. But if you're somebody who's getting on social media and complaining, or running away, or automatically jumping to another company or another business that looks like a quick, in the plant world, you have these, I don't want to call them one-hit wonders, but these things that are, they bloom, they're gorgeous, but it's like it's over and it's done. Or maybe it's an annual that only grows 1 year. Things that are wonderful take a long time. Some of the most incredible species of plants take many, many years. And that's what we see here. And we have to take ownership of what we're going to do in the time that we're waiting, and also in the business. Number 3, stay curious and adaptable. Lead with questions, especially when you think you know. Don't assume, okay? Be curious and stay adaptable. That's what many of us are doing. I've talked about this before in terms of being so attached to the old company and still using the logos. Why are some people still using the logos? Be adaptable. Ash told us we're not doing that anymore. Please let that go and stay adaptable. All right, number 4, they start before they feel ready. Again, if you are waiting until you feel this big sense of readiness, it's probably never going to come. Whatever it is you're waiting to do because you are worried about what someone might say or what someone might think, you just have to take action. I always tell my students, action comes before motivation. You can't wait for motivation, because it is actually the act of doing something that creates momentum and creates motivation. So get out of your comfort zone. Do whatever it is, whether it's making a video, whether it is talking to someone about the business or about Victory with Ash. Take action now. Number 5, they choose progress over perfection. My videos aren't perfect, and I'm okay with that. I don't have special equipment that I'm using. I am just talking and speaking from my heart and talking about things that I think are relative, and hopefully it resonates with someone. And, you know, when you're doing anything, you're going to be a novice at some point. You know, nobody was perfect in the beginning. So just take little steps. Number 6, they speak with honesty and empathy. You know, Ash has spoken to us with honesty. He speaks to us when, even though he's been what some think is absent, he's not. But when he does speak to us, he tells us the truth about the things that have gone wrong and the things that are, you know, that have held us back, or that have held this mission back. And he has empathy for the struggles that many of us are going through. Many people are going through many different kinds of struggles, financial, health, whatever it is that you're going through. Keep in mind that he's not blind to those struggles. And when you speak to others, always think about what might be happening in their life, what might be, you know, an unspoken need or an unspoken burden in their life. Number 7, they protect their time and focus. And I think this is really important with what we are talking about, what we've been seeing in Victory with Ash. Some are so caught up in the fact that Ash has been less visible and less vocal. And I think personally, this is my opinion, I think it is very strategic. I think he is doing this on purpose, because I believe that, you know, you have to be willing to make radical change if something hasn't worked in the past in order to have a different outcome. And a lot of people, many people are not willing to make that radical change. And I think Ash, because Ash loves to talk to people, so I think he chose, or is choosing, to be less vocal as a radical change for the better and for our long-term success. I personally believe that he made a choice to conserve his energy, conserve his time, and to focus on what really matters. And that's building this movement, building this company for our futures. That's my opinion. I think it's very strategic. Number 8, they stretch beyond their comfort zone. If you always stay comfortable, you're probably never going to grow. And I personally have experienced this. We all love our comfort zone. Some of us, you know, are more reluctant to try things that are new, but you have to chase growth and not comfort. Discomfort is part of the process of anything. So going through discomfort doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. Number 9, they celebrate other people's wins. How many companies or how many organizations can you find where so many people celebrate other people's wins? And that's one of the things that I think has kept so many people connected to this journey with Ash, is that we have a community who truly celebrates other people's wins, whether it's the birth of a grandchild. By the way, congratulations, Chris and Jean. All of these life things, our community is so celebratory, whether it's birthdays, you know, graduating from something. There's so many wonderful things to celebrate, and we don't compete. I don't believe that this community is very competitive. We are all in this together, and so many people shine the light on other people. So I hope those were encouraging, and I hope you found a little bit of value in this. Like I said, this is not what I originally planned on talking about, but the recent meeting has shifted the energy, and I felt like I just wanted to share my excitement for, you know, I could say the moratorium, the end of the silence, or the end of the waiting. And, you know, a couple of months is nothing in the grand scheme. And if that's what it takes Ash to do what he needs to do, I'm totally for it, and I'm not upset about it at all. Have a blessed Wednesday.